Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that we've been putting off for a while after the slightly disastrous experience that we had last time where I got asked the same question 30 times in a row. But we've got, ladies and gentlemen, a rerun of Saints WuWa Q&A. What we do on the Saints WuWa Q&A is, of course, get a list of questions for how to either progress your Wuthering Waves account, what's the best decision to do for my account, did I brick it or how do I fix it? And we run these on my Discord server. And so if you're interested in having your question pop up on the next Q&A, hopefully it's a well thought out one, then you know exactly where to go. So that's my little plug. I don't ever actually do that, so hopefully you appreciated that one. We're going to be starting from October 1st on the list of questions. Do keep in mind that some of them might be a little bit outdated, but the advice that we give for some of the outdated questions hopefully should still be valid. I don't think there's any reason why it wouldn't be. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's dive into this first one. See how high quality some of the questions are, and we might skip a couple of them if they do seem a bit repetitive. Do keep that in mind, and I'll let you know which ones those are. I have a Changli, but no fusion team yet. And this is a little bit of an old one. I saw the rerun during Galbrena is Lupa, and I really want to build Changli's team, so I am thinking of skipping Galbrena. Is this a right idea? Side note, I don't have Brent, but plan to pull him when he reruns. Hopefully not with Jinxie, not with Gian or Jinxie. This is my roster. So I don't even need to look at your roster to tell you a couple of things about mono fusion and how the team works. So if you're a person that only has Changli on your account, I don't recommend pulling Lupa. I don't recommend you pull Lupa unless you know you're going to pull Brant, because otherwise, Lupa's team and actually getting productivity out of Lupa, it's not really going to be possible unless you plan on playing with no sustain. And if you plan on playing with no sustain, hey, that's like all up to you. And if you want to go for it, go for it. Pull Lupa without Brant. But most people would make the realization that playing Mono Fusion without Brant is one of the more risky things to do in the game, and Brant elevates the team's value by a lot. And so this is kind of like the rough spot that Changli is in. A lot of people have her and they want to build her team, but the realization that most people should have is that this is the Mono Fusion core. These two make up Mono Fusion, and Changli is the most replaceable part of the team. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Changli is actually the character that you replace, because this team over here is actually a little bit better when you slot in Galbrena instead of Changli. This team over here is actually close to the same goddamn level if you slot in Encore. And the same exact thing when it comes to this team, you can say that when you slot in even a goddamn Chisha too. The difference between having Chisha, Encore, or Changli in the third slot isn't really that big. Because like I've been saying before, these two make up the core. And so I wouldn't really be in the mindset of like prioritizing your pulls around Changli because of the fact that she's the most replaceable. But if you do want to build the best team possible for her, it's these two. That's indisputable. But it is something where your heart's really got to be in it for you to want to do that. And I really recommend pulling these two parts of the core first. They are kind of the backbone of the archetype for a reason. I know it's a little bit late, but hopefully that advice for anybody that's thinking about building out their Changli team, thinking about Mono Fusion, thinking about Lupa, or thinking about Brant, I think that that's an answer that, well, encompasses all of those different elements. So hopefully that was still helpful. Hey Unk, have you reacted to this yet? I almost started playing Genshin and I happened to come across one of your vids that got me hooked to WuWa. Okay, it's a Shy Guy High video, guys. So what he's going to do in this video is he's going to show off a dog shit looking Genshin animation that looks like it's from a fucking 2003 PS1 game. And then he's going to show off a Wuthering Waves animation that looks 300 times better. Hey, it is what it is, but that's most of the videos. And this is the take that I'll have. There's nothing wrong with making content like this. If you want him to stop making content like this, ask Genshin and Hoiverse to stop putting out dog shit products. Because this is the thing. You can't make this video if Genshin doesn't look like garbage. That's the truth. If Genshin looked like a good game, and it looked like a game that was making the money that it makes, then you wouldn't be able to make these videos. And so, don't blame Shy Guy High. Don't blame the creator for making this content. Blame the devs of Genshin for making a dog shit product where you can make content off of it like this. Do you see any videos of WuWa getting compared to other games? You see any videos of somebody showing off a WuWa animation and then being like, look at how much better this other one is? That's right, you don't, because WuWa has the best fucking animations. It is what it is. Strive for more, ask for more from your game, instead of bitching and moaning when it's your devs that are creating the issue. Regarding to my Carlotta's echoes... What? Is it better to equip double Glacio Echoes or an attack percent and a Glacio Echo? I know her build is kinda shit, but with this build, is it good enough to clear the endgame content? You could just try. I have her signature weapon, but at S0, I might get her to S3 when she reruns, and I might pull G-Jaw. Currently, she's running on Okay, alright, this is like the biggest run-on sentence I've ever seen. So, let's take this piece by piece first, and let's talk a little bit about this. So, if you're somebody that happens to have Carlotta with her signature, then this is the truth when it comes to her Echo build. There's a 0.01% difference between running double Glacio and running attack and Glacio. And the reason for that is simple. You can see over here I have double Glacio 3 costs. I could have one as attack, and attack would actually be slightly higher. This is because Carlotta's Sonata set is fucking crazy when it comes to damage bonuses. So, Glacio damage bonus, for example, as you're seeing up here, is essentially the same thing as resonant skill damage if you're dealing Glacio resonant skill damage. And 90% of Carlotta's damage is Glacio resonant skill damage. And her Sonata set gives a bunch of effects. The first one is 12% resonant skill damage, then 22.5% Glacio damage, and then it builds up to 36% additional skill damage. So 36% plus 12 is 48. 48 plus 22.5 is 70.5. So this set, once it's stacked up, gives you 70.5% resonant skill damage. That's kind of a fucking lot. And so, having all of that skill damage bonus, or really damage bonus, in her Sonata set, combine that with her kit and her weapon, which also gives 48% resonant skill damage bonus, then you end up in a situation where an attack 3 cost is pretty much identical to a Glacio 3 cost. In all other circumstances, usually running double element or double attribute, double Glacio in this situation, would be better. However, she's an edge case. And so feel free to run any combination you want. Just don't run double attack. All right, now let's move on to the next part. I know her build is kind of shit. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but it's all right. But with this build, is it good enough to clear the end game? It should be enough to clear the end game. But you might want a Shorekeeper for that dog shit crit rate, because that's really fucking low. So yeah. Currently, she's running on a crit rate, which you should have a crit rate forecast because you have a 72% critical damage weapon. Yeah, no, it should be fine, but your echo rolls just look a little bit mid. I don't think you need to pull S3 or S4 to clear any of the content. Wait, actually, you have a fuck ton of attack. Maybe this is actually fine. Yeah, you have like almost 2,500 attack. How much does mine even have? Yeah, that's a little bit high too, but like, yeah, you got a lot of points of attack, so it should be. Oh, whoopsie. You have a lot of points of attack, so it should actually be fine. I don't really like. You could just try using the fucking character too. I mean, like, what better way to answer the question? Can she clear? What do you think's gonna be a better way for you to tell the answer? Can she clear? You going in and trying to clear yourself, or me reading your fucking stat page? I feel like one of those gives you a way better answer. So, I mean, you should just try it out yourself to see whether or not it clears. I mean, surely that'll give you a better point of view than me looking at your stat screen. Anyways, what should I aim for in future patches? Any recommendations? Why don't you just... Okay, so this is probably going to be, hopefully, the last time we see this question. So, why don't you just look at the fucking characters on your account and then see who works well with them and then pull them? Do you need me to tell you Who works well with characters on your account? Let's do this one time. And then in the future, you can just look up the character guide for the unit and then see who works well on their teams. And then be like, okay, I'll decide to pull them. So for you want to use with Augusta or Chacona or Gian. Those are the teammates for her. You already have Gian, you already have Chacona, so you probably want to pull Augusta for this unit. For Cartithia, you already have the team, so that doesn't really matter. For Phrolova, you want Cantarella. For Brant, you want Lupa. Oh, and Changli. Oh, you already have Changli. That's pretty much it. Yeah, there's not really too much. That's kind of it. Like, what else can you do over here? Oh, you got to pull a jet. Hey, pull a Cantarella then, because now your Jinxie's going to be able to use her too. I mean, like, but that's like the thing. You would know any of these from looking up any of the character guides. So that's why we typically don't want to answer questions like this too often on the Q&A, because having a question like this basically means you put in absolutely no effort at all on your end to even try to answer your own question in the first place. And instead, you're basically like, hey, Saint, can you do all the work for me? Because I'm playing this game, but I don't even want to, like, try to think about what I should do with all these resources I've been saving up. Brother, I don't want to be responsible for your account. It's your account. Maybe you could come in with a point of view of who you want to pull, and then maybe get my professional opinion on how good of a pull that is. Maybe if you came in with the question of, I'm thinking about pulling Lupa on this account. Is that a good idea? Here's the reasons for why I think it's a good idea. Here's maybe why it's not that good of an idea. And then I can give you an answer from there. That's probably going to be way more helpful. But in this situation, it's like, yeah, you have a lot of potential pulls, but I don't even know which team you want to play. That's all the answers for what you could pull. Again, we're trying not to have questions like this very often because they're, like I said before, they're a little bit pointless to answer. Saints WuWa Q&A. That video helped me out, actually. My question is this. Do you in some way agree with Game 8's WuWa guides? Am I supposed to read all of them? And they give you an, like, what do you disagree with in Game 8? And then link it, and then let me know why you disagree with it, and I could tell you whether or not I disagree with it too. I don't know what to look for in here, so I'm not going to click it. Because again, I can see the link. It's just the entire WuWa section. It's just the entire WuWa section of the website. There's not like a specific article in there. Asking so if I know I'm not being misled, because I've basically been depending on that heavily and YouTube for research. Like, look at your shit and then look at what's in my guides, and then you'll be able to know if they're different. Guys, come on. Like, you could just, because you found my channel and you have my resources, you can, because you've been doing the Game 8 way, you can take a look at the Game 8 way and then compare it to the Saint way. And if the Saint way and the Game 8 way are the same thing, then great, awesome, you've done, there's nothing that needs to be changed. But if the Saint way is way different from the Game 8 way, then now you know why they're different and what's different, and you can, well, put those questions in here so that I can answer them. But I'm not going to go ahead and read the entire damn website, cross-reference it with all the stuff that I'm doing, and then let you know what percent accuracy I'm not, that's a ridiculous ask on my end. Like, and now that I've listed out why it's a ridiculous ask, hopefully you guys understand why I can't really answer this question. For my current lineup, I decided to go with Lupa so I can pair with Encore. Not a bad idea. I wanted to hold on for Cartithia because I'm a simp. Okay. But your video showing the disadvantage of her team in WuWa discouraged me. It's not that great. As I am free to play, I don't have the luxury of getting characters on launch, and would have to skip a lot before I can raise the conventional requirement. Or before I can raise the convene requirement. Okay, so the question's not here yet. That's just all the context. All in all, is Lupa, Verena, and Encore worth investing in? The team works. It's not amazing. Just go get Brant and play Mono Fusion with Lupa Encore, and Brant. Or you do pull Cartithia, but then make sure you pull Chakota as well. I guess that's one of the nice things about waiting, is that you know how closely tied together some units are. So think about it this way. When it comes to Cartithia and Lupa over here, Lupa is essentially tied together to Brant. You can have the option of playing her sustainless, though, and it works. Cartithia is also tied to the hip to Chakota. You can play either of them without each other, but Chakota is a lot better without Cartithia than Cartithia is without Chakota. I think that is definitely a fact that people should keep in mind. Chakota has way more teams, way more viability, way more play styles than Cartithia does without each other. The best character I think of that describe my gameplay would be Phrolova and Carlotta. I like to rush, so Encore is a bit lacking because of that. I'm pretty sure she has a very fast rotation, and Mono Fusion is a team that kind of kicks off. I don't think this part is very relevant. So yeah, like I said before, okay, you have no fucking characters on your account anyways. It doesn't really matter who you pull. Hey, I want to pool. We're not off to a strong start. I want to pool for another DPS since this is all I have on my account so far. And I was thinking about pooling. Thinking about pooling for Zani and Cartithia, but they both use Rover in their teams, and I don't really know on what teams I can sub out Rover for different characters since he is buffing with stacks both teams, and also since Zani and Cartithia are older DPS characters, I'm wondering if I should. Oh, this is rough, bro. All right, so, what is the question being asked right now? Okay, I think he's asking, what are the best characters to pull so you can clear the TOA? You should probably pull DPS characters because you have one of them. And typically, to full clear the TOA, you want 3 DPS characters. And so, my recommendation is, pull 3 DPSs first, and then start building out the teams for those DPSs. And make the first 3 DPSs that you pull budget DPSs. Here are my examples of budget DPSs that are able to function very, very, very well without a 5-star teammate. Are you ready for the list of budget DPSs? The first budget DPS over here, when we're going to go by release order, is Augusta. Because you take this character and you give her Mortify and she'll clear the content. You also can pair her with Verena, but I recommend Shorekeeper, but most people should have Shorekeeper. This is a budget DPS. She does very well on low investment. Another budget DPS is actually Phrolova, because you use Havoc Rover and Dan Jin on her team. 2 characters that, at this point in the game, Havoc Rover is 100% free, and Dan Jin is pretty damn close to free with how many banners she's been on. You use Dan Jin and Havoc Rover on this team, and it works just fine. It's great, it's strong, it'll clear all the content. Third, you'll have a character like Carlotta, who you can use her with Tao Chi and go blow up all the content. You just need 120% ER, and you gotta figure out how to do Tao Chi's double intro rotation. It's fine. It works just good, and it's better with Jeja, but so is Mortify with the Uno. Another one is Camellia, and I only recommend this if your Rover's getting used in other teams. Otherwise, you can just use Havoc Rover. But I'm gonna be honest, I feel like Phrolova is a little bit higher value than Camellia right now. They both also deal Havoc damage, so it doesn't really matter too much from there. And the last pick that I'll give, naturally, right, is Gion. Because I don't really know. This is value to me. You take Verena Mortify, you combine them with this guy, and he'll 3-star the TOA, and then he'll 3k WuWa. What else can I, like, what other, there aren't many other characters in the game where you just take Verena and then a 4-star, combine them together, and then the guy full clears TOA and full clears WuWa. Are there very many characters that do that? Do I need to prove it? Nobody's saying they believe. Does that mean I gotta prove it? Oh, Lord. Okay, I guess we're doing this again, boys. Hey, y'all made me do this. I hope you guys realize y'all made me do this. I asked if I needed to prove it, and you guys basically said yes. We're gonna be only trying out WuWa on the first side, so I don't actually expect a 3k score. But yes, we will be using the team that I talked about. Fuck it, we'll also use a Verena too for fun. Yeah, we'll use the falling star that tears apart. We might also try it with Plunderers too. That's looking good. That's looking good. We got Static Piss. That's looking great. And let's get our Mortifi Moonlit set on. Yeah, the Mortifi's investment is dog shit. It's been a while since I've done this team. Let's just see how it goes.
Leave it to me.
Ready for battle. You're wide open. Lend me your power.
Leave me alone.
Let's do ready for
this
battle.
another way.
Unstoppable. Set. Fury boils. Inferno.
Bask in the sunlight.
All right, there we go.
Fury boils. Burn. Silence.
Let's do
You're wide open.
another.
I thought he was Marina for a second. I started doing jump attacks.
Break.
Don't you worry.
Why is my targeting doing that?
Boils. As you wish.
Photosynthesis. Life is in everything.
What?
The spirit of
Ready for battle.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. That pissed me off too.
Let's do wide open.
This
We literally, that pissed me off so bad. That targeting, going for like that one guy over there is like only alive because of that fucked up shit. It was like that bro was not getting traction when he should have been,
bask in the sunlight.
and then I like lost energy from that.
Fury boils. Burn.
That was some
Feel my
dog
wrath.
shit.
Let's do ready for
this
battle.
another way.
Fear no more.
All right. I think this is actually one of those teams that low-key performs better with plunderers.
Break. Fury boils.
Roll for me.
I think
Luminous
Shorekeeper is
energy.
actually the one where I like the, what's it called?
Fury boils.
This one better?
Inferno.
Yeah, let's try this with plunderers, and also, let's also try it without getting griefed again. That's a 2.1k on that other token. I legitimately think this one actually does better with plunderers, because I remember getting 3k with plunderers before.
Set. Lend me your
Leave it to me.
power.
First
Ready for battle.
evolution.
You're wide open. Break.
Let's do
Ready for
this
battle.
another way.
Unstoppable.
Don't you worry.
Set. Lend me Fury boils. Your power. Inferno.
Luminous energy. The fruit of evolution.
Fury boils. Burn. Feel my wrath.
Let's do
You're wide open.
this another way.
Fear no
Oh, I hope this hits more than one thing.
Finale. Lend me your power. Fury boils. As you wish.
Bask in the sunlight.
Here we go.
The fruit of evolution.
Fury boils. Burn to ashes.
Let's do
Ready for
this
battle.
another way.
Unstoppable. Break. Lend me your Fury boils. Inferno.
Life is in everything.
Can't see shit? Yeah, I can't really see shit either, bro.
As you wish. Silence.
Let's do this
You're wide open.
another way.
Fear no more. Lend me your power.
Fury boils. Burn.
Listen up. Bask in the sun.
All right, so side one.
Fury boils.
I think this many
Burn to
points on
ashes.
side one effectively basically is 3K.
Inferno. Ready for battle.
That's basically 3K on a side two, because you got to spend so much fucking time farming up like your concerto at the start. So I would say, yeah, 2.5K on side one with plunderers. Yeah, that's really good. I think 2.5K, and then with a little bit better timing, we would have gotten like 3K, I think, if we got that ult off on that final wave. We also had some bad grouping on that second to last one, too. I think a 2.5K on side one, basically 2.6, with a Liberation-reliant team, that's essentially about 300, 400, maybe even 500 points more on side two. We also had, like, some gameplay that was fucked up as well. Like, a really bad miss on the Gion ultimate over there. And so, yeah, that's what I'll call it as. This token is a bit of a fucking bait. It's not really that good. Plunderers is still the most consistent one that I've seen work out. And if you're taking the Gion team, still leaving yourself with room for some error, going on side one, which is one of the worst possible things you can do with Gion's team, because you get just straight up way more points on side two with a Liberation-reliant character like him. I mean, I'm going to be honest over here. He also clears the TOA. He does that. And again, that's with the most budget affordable team in the game. It only gets better when you slot in shit like Shorekeeper and stuff like that. That's really like the main point. You put in Yuno and Shorekeeper in that team and then it does better too. Like I said before, when it comes to the triple DPS teams and the triple deep or not triple DPS teams, but you want to invest in 3 DPS characters. And my recommendation always is for somebody that's trying to clear the TOA as fast as possible on the lowest budget possible, choose the 5-star limited units that have affordable teams, and those affordable teams are still able to clear. And that's why I view having older units still being viable as a very, very, very important thing. Because that just adds more ways or more routes for players to complete the endgame in the way that they want. So, yeah. I've already showed a lot of evidence of the guy full clearing the TOA, but just wanted to show that WuWa side 1, with the Giga free-to-play team, you can still get respectable scores. And this is also the last thing. To get full points in Whimpering Waves, you only need 2.25K on each side. You don't need 2,500 or 2,600. You need 2.25K. So we were actually over the threshold needed on either side. How much better is Chakona's signature pistol over an R5 standard one, and is it worth pulling for? The value of Chakona's signature versus Static Mist is entirely dependent on the teams that she's being used in. For example, one of the things that I listed, or one of the things that I talked about before, was the fact that Chakona actually has a lot more teams than Kartithia, even though both of them really do want each other. And the reality of it is simple. If this is the team you're running Chakona with, you want her pistol, because Chakona's not going to be able to provide any of Static Mist's attack buff to Kartithia. And the team does, well, assume this is Arrow Rover, right?
New discoveries?
The team does entirely arrow damage, assuming that this is Arrow Rover. And the way that her pistol works is simple.
The divinity may foresee the
It
future of the
reduces
world,
arrow
but I doubt
resistance
they can
on the
predict
target
which
by
song people will play
10%,
tomorrow.
which isn't that much, but it is still pretty significant and does have a nice damage boost. While Static Mist only gives attack to the recipient of your outro skill. So her pistol's just way better here, because Kartithia is the recipient. However, let's assume you run this team. Yuno is now the recipient of Chakona's outro skill, and Yuno benefits from attack. And so, in this team, I do think Chakona's signature is still better, but the gap is way smaller between Static Mist and Woodland Aria, Chakona Sig, in a team where the recipient of Chakona's outro actually scales from attack. And this is one of those teams. In a similar vein, the gap is also lowered, but her signature is still better in this lineup. And this is a third Chakona team that you're able to play that's also very valuable and that's also very strong. So yeah, Static Mist is better, or Static Mist is not better, but it's still competitive, more competitive in these previous two lineups, but her signature is hands down far better when you're in this lineup. However, there's a simple thing I need to talk about when it comes to
The
Chakona
divinity
and her
may
weapon
foresee
choices.
the future of the world, but I doubt they can predict which song people will play tomorrow.
This character really needs ER. Like, she needs 130% to liberate consistently every single rotation, and it's really fucking hard to get a 130 ER on the Gust of Welkin set. And so a lot of people like using Static Mist on her because it basically means that at higher refinement ranks, you only need 1 or 2 ER subs for her to be 130%. And Chakota being 130% ER is better for your overall DPS than Chakota having her SIG and then being at like 120 ER, 110 ER, because then you're gonna have to spend excess time on her to fill up her energy that you could be spending on your rotation, and you actually lose the benefit of her signature. So the best overall combo is having 130 ER with her SIG. That can be hard, so some people just go Static Mist and then 1 ER roll. Or you could take the Fob Master route and buy tubes and tuners from the shop so you don't have to worry about your echo rolls at all. 130% plus a good crit ratio is really hard to get on the character. And when it comes to the actual damage you're dealing between these two, guys, the bonus from Woodland Aria is literally 24% arrow damage versus, well, not having an attack buff. And 24% arrow damage isn't that much. This is why Chakota Signature is considered one of the least necessary ones in the game, because there's actually a lot of benefits to using Static Mist. Returning player here, but still new. On my research, the characters that clicked with me, both for visuals and gameplay, why are there so many commas in here, were Augusta, Zani, and Galbrena. Question, do I pull for Yuno? I don't fucking know. Do you want her? Yo, Unk, do you hate the Phrolova or Cantarella team? No, I think the Phrolova Cantarella team is a nice, stable core. I like the fact that Phrolova has a Giga Premium option that she does very well with. And I also like the fact that you can just simply pair Phrolova up with more free-to-play friendly teammates and not really have any concerns at all either. I think she's a well-designed unit. I think she works out very, very well for both, again, the higher and lower end. And yeah, it's good that she has a Giga Premium team. Now you can put Chuyon on it. Okay, I need to get these fucking flappy little birds. I need them to shut the fuck up. Yeah, I bet there's bird shit everywhere. You see this? You see this over here? Why do you know why you hear birds so often? That's why this is this color. Because the birds are literally shitting in the water, nobody's cleaning it up, and now it's fucking purple. That's some hidden lore. Get ready for the life lessons video on that one. Anyways, hey Saint, I'm running Brant Lupa Signature without Lupa Sig. Should I get Lupa S1 from the shop? How about you just fucking pull a third fusion character for that team? I have Brant, but it's Sig, but no Changli. I was wondering if I should go for Lupa or Galbrena. Get Lupa. If you have Brant, get Lupa. Lupa is goodly. Okay, good answer, WuWa player Kito. Bugatti, I want to ask you. Okay, never mind. Hi Saint. Who should I pull for? You have no DPS characters. Just pull a fucking DPS. I have multiple videos on this topical area. If your question is, who do I pull for, and you have one DPS character, go pull other DPSs so you can make their fucking teams. Like, this is the pulling priority. You get the DPS, and then you're like, okay, who does this DPS work well with? Boom, boom. And it might be one of the teammates they work the best with is Shorekeeper. And so you're like, oh, Shorekeeper's the best teammate for like 4 of these teams. Maybe I should get Shorekeeper because now I have a teammate for all 4 of these teams. Like, you'll just see who's the highest value one. Who benefits the most characters on my account when I pull them, and that's going to be the best value pick. It's really not that hard, guys. Just think about 3 DPS characters. Who do they work well with? Are there any synergies? Should I go for those teams? Or do I really like certain characters enough to build their own team? That's why some people have Zani and Phoebe when they really shouldn't. Dude, you're so gay. We can cut that out. I love your videos. Just a simple question. What is the rotation for Shorekeeper, Cantarella, and Phrolova? Haven't found any videos about it in YouTube and TikTok. So you have 2 rotations you can do in this team. You can start with Shorekeeper or you can start with Phrolova. It doesn't really, like, matter who you start with because it just ends up being, like, Phrolova will have less than 12% crit rate when she gets on field or she gets the 12.5%. And then, like, you can kind of decide. It doesn't really matter. Some would say that because the first rotation in the Phrolova team always deals the least amount of damage. So you can go Phrolova to SK to Cantarella and then back to Phrolova. Or you can literally go, like, SK, Phrolova, Cantarella into Shorekeeper. You get discernment, you get like a bigger buff. It's just like the differences between the two are like not really that significant. And you can just kind of do whatever you want. I don't really think it matters between the two. Just figure out which one feels better for you. Because the alternative is that, like, Phrolova gets all of, like, the Stellar Realm buffs, or she doesn't, or she gets Cantarella's outro skill. You can kind of see what I'm talking about over here, right? If you could redesign Rossia's kit, how would you go about it? I think she should just be deleted from the game. I feel like her kit is just so bad. It's just unbelievable. Like, her grouping isn't even that good. There's characters with way better grouping that lasts longer. That doesn't require the commitment and field time that she has. Her damage is completely piss. And her gameplay is one of the worst things I've ever seen. Her gameplay literally is intro skill in, attack, spin for a few seconds, and then bounce 3 times. Then liberation, echo skill, and then swap. It's like boring, and then it also gets interrupted super easily. I feel like the bounces were meant to be like the dynamic, exciting part of her kit, but they're just like, you dread going onto Roccia because you're like, okay, am I gonna get interrupted on bounce number 3 again and then absolutely break this entire rotation? Here we go. Let's go. Let's do it. And it's just, I have so little desire to ever even touch the characters, like touch the characters' teams, like do anything at all with her in gameplay. And the thing is that I have one of the best Roccia builds on the server. And I'm telling you firsthand, I've used this unit like less than 15 times since I've gotten her. Literally less than 15 total times, I'm pretty sure. She's dog shit. And I don't even know, outside of a complete revamp, what would fix her. She's that bad. Maybe a revamp where Pero, right? Oh, and I think this is one of the parts that just like blows my mind the most. The fact that like this fucking thing literally does nothing. This little creature might as well not fucking exist. Bro is the biggest fraud I've ever seen in story or like in gacha designers. He does nothing. Maybe if like he did something during her E, maybe if he was the one doing the bouncing, I don't fucking know, right? It's just this like, and this is what I mean. I've already told you, my build on this character is diabolical. Like I have like 17 heavy attack damage rolls and then like 10% crit rate on half the pieces, right? I still think the character's dog shit. Even with the build, even with her signature, even with everything. Complete non-existence on every single account. And she's also outclassed on every single team that she used to be best in slot on. Awful. What would you do if you found out your boss at your job is a Hoyo shill? I played the, is it the 5th? Yeah, I played the 5th. How is Phrolova, Galbrain, and Cantarella? It sucks ass. Okay. He ain't getting down here for another 2 to 3. Oh, what? Well, it's, I'm actually here in a month. Dumbass. Rowie. Yeah, I bet you feel real stupid now, don't you? Rowie. I actually came in half the time that you expected. Maybe you should get your estimator module checked out, dumbass. It was wrong this time, idiot. Say, I'm kind of curious. Do you have a dream or favorite car or a car brand that you like the most? I like sedans. I like nice-looking sedans. Yeah, they're cool. Hey, Mr. Oiled Up Changli, I want a suggestion for some team building. I started playing since 1.3 and don't own characters like, who's Gayan? Or Changli and stuff, and Jeja too. But I own Carlotta and her Sig. I also own Brand, and since he buffs Carlotta, I pair them up. So you should probably pull Lupa. You should probably pull Lupa and maybe Jeja. S0R1, I play him with Carlotta since I didn't get Lupa yet. Is this build good enough or not? Honestly, that's pretty good for S0. Maybe you should get his S2 so you get 90% more critical rate. Or 30% more. But, yeah, I mean, you're not really critting, though, so that's kind of the concern. 63% is kind of fucking low. Maybe this will be the last question of the Q&A. Is Phrolova's team worth getting any more? I own a Cantrayli, but not Roccia. Probably won't ever get her. Good job. And Phrolova. I am aware that she specializes in Echo and Havoc damage, but there are already 2 teams coming to replace her. That being Galbraina with Chuyan and Chisa with Havoc Rover 2.0. So this is what I can comfortably say now that I have future information, ladies and gentlemen. Phrolova is in an entirely different ballpark of her own when it comes to Galbraina with Chuyan. The reality is, Galbraina without Mono Fusion and without Chuyan is kind of a poo-poo. Yeah, she's just not particularly that amazing as, like, a unit. She still clears, but it's like, if you don't have one of her specialized teams, she's very underwhelming. Phrolova, on the other hand, feels way more satisfying in free-to-play lineups. She feels like she has a complete team already with Cantarella, but then you already have more premium options as well by putting Chuyan on her team, or even going so far as to, you know, well, that's pretty much the highest you can go, putting Chuyan on her team. So, yeah, Galbraina feels a lot more limited than Phrolova for certain. I actually think that Frolova's gameplay is also way more interesting than Galbraina's as a whole. Like, Phrolova feels like, to me, way more fun to play. There's more conscious decisions that you can make. Am I going to go for stagnation, or am I going to go for grouping? You can, like, do stuff like that as well. And then Chisa's Havoc Bane. So, like, yeah, Chisa's Havoc Bane, so that's an entirely different archetype of its own. That's like saying, oh, if you have Jinsei, don't get Spectro Frazzle. Well, low-key, it's like, if you have Jinsei, you don't want to get Spectro Frazzle, because the archetype is just a fucking pain in the ass to play. But you get what I'm talking about over here. That being said, is it still worth it to get Phrolova, knowing that she will most likely be replaced? Well, she wasn't, because the Phrolova teams, Phrolova is better with Chuyan than Galbraina is with Chuyan. Yes, this might blow your mind. This team with Chuyan and Phrolova's Double Havoc is better than Galbraina's. So I'm glad that we got to see this question after the calcs, the results have all been out, because yeah, this team's better. So I don't really see Phrolova as the power-crept character over here, or the character that's getting replaced. It's more so, this unit launched, and she's worse. That's just kind of what it is. When it comes to the Echo skill damage archetype, this team launched, and this one's just better. It's unfortunate that it is what it is. Not really. Are you here just to... Okay, are you guys here just to rage bait? Because, like, I can pull up the fucking numbers if you guys want. It's not bro just hating Galbraina. Okay, you're just rage baiting, right? It's not bro just hating Galbraina. It's literally, like, numerically, this team does more damage than this one. So, on Chuyan's release, right? Well, everyone thought Galbraina was going to be tied to the hip to Chuyan. She is, right? She is tied to the hip, but then Chuyan does better in this team than he does with Galbraina's team. I'm sorry, but that's just the facts of the scenario. So in my honest opinion, Phrolova is, and I've already said it before, she is the highest, or one of the highest value units in the game. And with the new TOA taking longer to clear, giving her more time to ramp up her aftersound stacks so that she gains more critical damage, and she also deals more damage with her Scarlet Coda, her value has only grown. And then her previous best in slot team with Roccia, well, Roccia got replaced by a better fucking character. So yeah, that's another thing that happened too. I don't really know what else to say. I think this character is just like, and in general, she's a miss compared to this one. But don't let me be the one that makes or informs your pulling decisions. I would wait until the 2 whatever live stream. Characters have been rerunning faster and faster. I would not be surprised at all, knowing how well this team performs and the fact that Phrolova reran in 2.5. Or ran in 2.5. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Phrolova rerun coming for 2.8, or if it's even coming for 3.0. I would not be surprised. Because I really think they're trying to bank on how strong this team actually is. And we all know that Kuro loves pairing up best-in-slot teammates with each other, right? That's why. Well, yeah, Chakota, then Kartithia, so on and so forth. So I really expect Phrolova to be somebody that hopefully sweetens up Chuyan's sales. That might be why she might be in 2.8. Maybe they'll release the news that Phrolova's dropping, and then try to motivate people to get a couple more Chuyan pulls in. Because God knows, when you look at, like, content surrounding this guy, guide viewership, engagement, so on and so forth, nobody gives a fuck about this unit. Yeah, nobody cares about this guy. He might be the worst character release, viewership-wise, that I've seen since Roccia. Brant was more popular than this guy. Roccia was less popular. That's a fact. That's certain. But he's like comfortably #2 least popular character in the game, at least viewership wise. So yeah, they might sweeten up the deal that way. But yeah, that's gonna be our first WuWa Q&A in a while. Definitely did make sure to, I think, address some of like the better questions a bit more in detail, and then, you know, give a light, lukewarm answer. Very surface level for ones that I didn't think were really that great. We did have a couple of cameos over here by certain streamers. We might leave a couple of them in the video if they're goofy and fun. But yeah, that'll be it for this one. And so once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to get your question answered, if you're looking for my professional insight, first and foremost, you're going to need to join my Discord. And second, when it comes to composing your questions, please make it something where you're not just like telling me to do literally all the work, not just linking me a whole goddamn website and then saying, is this good? Put a little bit of work into it beforehand so that I can give you a bit more of a targeted answer, because my goal here is to be helpful, and it's very hard to be helpful and actually answer your question in depth when I'm being given very, very, very few details. So, yeah, a little bit more work in the questions. We did have a lot of great questions today, though. For example, this is a great question. I love this one, right? This is basically asking, is Phrolova still worth it? But then they expressed all the reasons and gave all the backbone for why they're concerned that she's not worth it, and so I can address all those individual points. This is like a model question, even though it's in like a subject area that you might think is like very diluted or that you might think is surface level. So yeah, use this as like a model for future Q&As. That'll be it for me. Let me know what you all thought about this one, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.